If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Let's see if anyone wants their stupid chart read. There's nothing to it. Bum, bum, bum. Hello, sweetheart. How are you? Hello. I had laser today, so my face is hideous and I couldn't put on makeup or shave or do anything. So, yeah, it just looks super red. But the laser is so worth it. It's super. Oops, wait, no. Wait, no. I have to figure out how to use this dumb program. Here, you go over here. And you go over here. And you go over there. My bum is on the chair. My bum is on the chair. If you get lucky, you're made of some hair. Although I'm getting so much laser, I don't have any hair. Okay, Alicia. Excuse me, let's look at your chart. Oh God, I look hideous. I look hideous. Is it painful? Yes. How much did it cost? It cost a lot. I had to take out a loan to do it. But this place guarantees it. And I absolutely love them. And it's run by legit medical professionals. They're all nurses. They're all former trauma nurses who just were so over their jobs. They're like, oh, I want to do this laser thing. So it's very professional. Hello, sweetheart. How are you? Thank you for saying I'm beautiful. I look hideous. I just had laser today, which is what I was just talking about. But I absolutely love this laser. I just wouldn't trust any laser. I go to this place called Milan. That's really, really good. Hi Denise. D nice. D nice. D nice. So anyway, let's look at Alicia. Charleville. Charleville. Have I looked at your chart before? Have I looked at your chart before? Shit, are you in here? Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Alicia. 7-11-87. I do have you in here. Alicia. Aurora Divine Tarot. Aurora Divine Tarot. Hector. Hello, my love. How are you? So, Alicia. Oh, Virgo rising. Oh my goodness. I feel like I've looked at so many Virgo rising charts. Hi, my darling Ashlyn. Hi, sweetheart. Oh, thank you. It feels like my face is just. Oh, I should close that door. Although that's not embarrassing anymore. I used to keep this closed because I still have boxes everywhere. And my sister came into town and I cleaned everything up. That's what happens when Saturn is square your sun and Mars. Forces you to start doing things you don't want to do. Or it can make you stop, when you want to do things. Either way. So anyway, for Virgo risings, oh my goodness. I had a ton of Virgo risings one night. I know I did. You were there. You were probably one of them. Well, anyway, I wasn't gonna come on because laser day off, and I spent 3 fucking hours on the phone between Verizon and this. I didn't even know there was like a credit agency for like telecom businesses and utilities, but they have their own separate thing. And Verizon had some stupid thing over $10. I didn't even know what it was, and I was on auto pay before. So anyway, so I disputed whatever it was, but it took 3 hours back and forth between the two. And I was going absolutely bonkers. So you've been having your Jupiter return, my darling. So this has sort of been an auspicious time The only time I do deep cleaning is when yeah, I know, me too. Well, and now I'm starting to meet people. So that also gave me a kick in the bum, right? Because who said it? Some comedian said that hookup culture has also resulted in people actually cleaning their rooms. Excuse me. Anyway, yeah, it was frustrating as all fucking hell. Um, so anyway, here. Oh, and you have Venus in Cancer like me. That's true. So Jupiter, you've been having your Jupiter return. So in a way, this has been sort of an auspicious time of your life, but it has to do with eighth house things, which aren't always fun. So when you have auspicious eighth house things, the best it can get is consolidating debt. I mean, not really. It can get better than that. It can bring inheritances, but it can bring these sort of double-edged situations where someone passes away, but you benefit somehow from it. Or, you have a big expense, but, there's a significant reduction or something, right? Like you have to put things on credit, but you get a really good APR, something like that. But I'd expect that debt factors into your life a bit more as you get older. Anyway, but I think I've said before, you probably felt like you didn't have much direction, screwed up home life as a kid, but this is probably all stuff we've talked about. Unhappy moon, and you're a full moon baby. Full moon babies are here to produce things. It's the flowering stage. Anyway, so Saturn's going through your seventh house. I must have said this to you before about Saturn going through your seventh house. But you see, when Saturn goes through our sixth house, which it did for past 3 years for you, it forces us to face responsibility. And it forces us to be independent and to take charge of our own things. We learn we can't really rely on people. And then we get to our seventh house Saturn transit for the next 3 years, or 2.5, or whatever it is. And excuse me, I should be doing this. Oh, thank you, Ashlyn. Yeah, everyone like the stream. Like the stream, please. Like the stream. And share and tell friends to come. I typically do topics and things like that. But, my sister was in town and I wasn't expecting to go live. And I all of a sudden because she had to leave early. So all of a sudden I had opportunities to go live. And I felt bad. I missed people last time. So anyway, before I waste too much time, I'm never wasting time. Even when I am, I'm not wasting time. Because every moment is an opportunity for self-consciousness, self-awareness. Every moment you can stop and you can listen and you can look. I mean, not like stop, collaborate, listen. What was that song? Gosh, I can't even remember. But anyway, enough about that. So Saturn going through your seventh house, it tends to make us strain our relationships because we've gotten this independence and we've gotten to the point where we don't need people. Excuse me. And then all of a sudden it feels like we're separated from our partners or our loved ones. Or you go through this lonely spell if you're not betrothed or with anyone, right? You'd feel like a really lonely spell where you're longing for that sort of thing. And then it feels like you never get it. But towards the end of these Saturn transits, we tend to see light at the end of the tunnel or a new opportunity presents itself. So whereas you may have a breakup or a divorce, oh, that's right, ice, babe. No. Theirs is din, 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 din. But ours is din, 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 din. You hear that? That's the difference. Sorry. But, oh my God. And Vanilla Ice did metal songs too that were sort of wackadoodle. And then I saw him on the Home and Garden network where he was doing like DIY shows and he was busting down walls. And I'm like, oh my God, the Home and Garden Network. That's where stars must go to die. White dwarfs? Isn't that what they call them? White dwarfs? Sorry. I make myself laugh. Anyway, um, well, so this last eclipse was in your eighth house. And they've gone from your ninth and third house axis, which is all about reflection. And it's gone to the second and eighth house axis, which is all about things passing away. Right? So it's about our material resources. Yeah, that get emphasized. Oftentimes, though, with an eclipse in the eighth house, you can see a death of someone that you have to deal with. So just be aware of that. I'm not trying to sound like it's all morbid or whatever, because it's not. Oh, I'm looking at top chat. I should be on live chat. Live chat. Live chat. So anyway. So yeah, anyway, well, relationships strained. We talked about Saturn. Jupiter's going into your ninth house here, though, in May. So that'll be a lovely thing because that'll pique your interest in occult subjects, in astrology or the arcane. When Jupiter goes through our ninth house, sometimes we can actually meet a teacher or find a new teaching. Or you find, a YouTuber or someone, like I found the Esoterica channel with Dr. Justin Sledge, and I mean, everyone should listen to me because I filter all the really good stuff that's really boring and make it a bit more interesting for you. But when I was having a similar thing, right? I would find new teachings or new teachers or stuff like that. You see? So anyway, there are very ninth house type YouTubers out there that do a lot of religion scholarship, like actual scholarship, not like, ooh, Atlantis, Cookie Crisp, and all that twin flame. It's all about the ancient aliens that came and taught mankind how to wipe their anuses. But I don't mean to be crude. I'm sorry. I'm just in a mood. I don't mean to be crude. I'm just in a mood. No, you appreciate me being candid. Yes, I just stared, reading for people. I taught you a lot. D nice. Still a student, not charging, of course. I mean, I don't know if I was close to any of that sort of stuff, but but this is a breakdown period. This is like a sunset period that you're in terms of the well, I would love it if Atlantis were to be real. It gets used for all sorts of racist things. All these you'd be surprised how much the spiritual community is full of racism and white supremacy and homophobia and transphobia. I mean, there's a lot of this whole spiritual thing where it's like, that's your karma. You're supposed to be in this lower realm, and all this sort of bullshit. And then, people use the whole Norse tradition, which had nothing to do with race. It had nothing to do. You're not a Viking. A Viking was a position. It was something it was something you did. It wasn't like a bloodline thing, or maybe it was, but it was something you did, right? So anyway, well, I hope we got some of that stuff. Some good stuff though. Jupiter is wonderful, Jupiter's lovely. I mean, you may have some financial luck. There could be some good financial fallout from this. Refunds or, costs reduced, debt written down, paid off or something, or more paid or whatever. Could be any number of things. I don't think it's something necessarily dire because Jupiter's involved. But we should move on to someone else. I'm sorry. I just get so like, what's going on here? You may be having quarrels with friends. Watch out having breakups with friends, or, having these arguments where you can't take back what you say, because you're a very popular person typically, but you're going to be drawn into fights, or maybe you've already been drawn into fights. So, oh yeah, and I have type O positive blood, so I'm not part of the cool kids. I have type O positive blood. Type O positive. I'm I'm type O positive. I'm positive. Anyway, I don't know if that's a good thing to share, but I guess it doesn't matter. But in case I need to give blood. But yeah, there's a bunch of racist stuff on type O negative blood, right? But yeah, the spiritual community is full of a bunch of racism. It really is. The pagan community, all these folks that are into, because that's where they try to find their identity. Because there's a lack of culture in a capitalist mode of production. Eventually, culture becomes commodified, so people get alienated. And I'm sorry, but racism has been encouraged over hundreds of years over here. So it's just a natural way to go. And anyway, it's a whole political thing, but that's how we distract from real economic issues. Scapegoats. Like, So, hey, but you do have a lovely time coming up. Just watch out with quarrels with friends. Your Mars is already in Leo in the 12th house, so you're going to have your Mars return here too in late May. And so this is going to be, it'll be sort of, you're going to want to be alone, and you might be frustrated. You're not going to be you're not going to want to be part of drama. People might want to bug you. Leave me alone. Don't bug me, that kind of stuff. You're going to be a self-imposed hermitist, perhaps, for that period. Don't worry, it's not a long period. So, well, we should go on to someone else. Because, who is next? Aurora Divine Tarot. Aurora Divine Tarot. So divine. Ah, the Death Star is fully operational. I don't know why I thought of him. I don't even like Star Wars all that much, to be honest. My little brother loved it so much, it just got really old really fast to me. And then, because when I was a kid in the 80s, it was just the old ones. And then all of a sudden, episode 1 came out. And it was just ridiculous. It was just so stupid. I'm sorry if you like it. It just seems so stupid with these frog creatures and all this nonsense. And, and then the remakes too. I guess I just sound like an old crone. But, I liked the original. April 27th. That's probably blasphemy for all you young folks out there. Born in the 90s. Born in the USA. That's Bruce Springsteen, right? Born in the USA. Born in the USA. Charlotte. Kamloops, Canada. I just moved here from Canada, and they think I'm slow, eh? Sorry, that's from The Simpsons. Ooh, I shouldn't have it up that loud. I hope the audio... Oh, I should have my headphones in. I have no clue how this audio is. I'm not used to doing headphones. Oh, and I should tilt the camera up. See, I have it tilted down when I do my other stuff. My naughty stuff, Because they don't want to see the top of me, so, well, they like that. So hopefully this will help me understand. Well, that sounds wackadoodle. I don't know. Well, that sounds better. So Kamloops. That sounds like a fun place. Oh, so you're Leo rising with Mars conjunct your ascendant. You're probably a little bit like me. So I have Mars trine my ascendant. When you have Mars aspecting your ascendant, typically you have to moisturize. Like we tend to have dry skin. And it's such a funny thing because it's almost a universal thing I see with us with Mars in the first house or Mars aspecting the ascendant. Either people have eczema or I don't have eczema, but like I get dry. Like I constantly have to moisturize. And we might get red or, blushed or flushed or, or we wear our emotions on our face. When Mars is in the first house, it tends to make us a bit more assertive and, it can make good leaders, that sort of stuff. Make good leaders. It can also make people that jump the gun a little bit. When Mars is in Leo too, um, it can be a little bit self-aggrandizing, especially in the first house, right? I mean, my mom's sort of a good example. Um, they loom quite large in their own presence. They overestimate their importance, let's just say. They can be a little inflated. So, and sometimes with good reason, produce results and stuff like that. And having a Taurus sun in the 10th house, and then Jupiter's about to come into your 10th house here in May, right? May 16th ish. So this is a lovely thing for you. This is an auspicious time. I don't know if I've seen your chart recently, but I had someone, I think either last night or last week, that how am I supposed to talk into this? I'm not. I am plagued with bad audio. I'm plagued with bad audio, and then I'm plagued with a screwed up throat because, I don't know. But anyway, so having Jupiter go through your 10th house, he'll be conjunct your midheaven, not too far from now. And this is sort of a big auspicious time over the next year until what, like May 24th or 26th of next year. So when Jupiter finally leaves Taurus and goes into Gemini, where he's not happy, interestingly enough. So relish this time because it could be a time of new opportunities. This is busted open. It could be good opportunities or opportunities you weren't necessarily expecting that arise, right? Or maybe you get recognition in your current position or in your current job. Hopefully it would be monetary compensation, but there are things like rewards and stuff like that. But you see, this is quite a long transit. This is a year. So, of course, the most potent time is when he crosses over your midheaven. Excuse me, but the whole year hopefully will be good luck for you in terms of visibility or success. Or it could just be a change in your life direction. You could have seen yourself going one way and all of a sudden find yourself going in another, right? You find yourself pursuing new goals or, what's the word? A new, not necessarily like a new craft, but like a new vocation, a new that's what life direction is. This is where your attention is. So, what you're interested in. What else is going on here? So anyway, your relationships were probably strained, or maybe you just felt super lonely over the past several years. And now you're having your Saturn return. As far as I'm concerned, your Saturn return starts when Saturn entered Pisces, and it ends when Saturn goes into Aries in 2026. But it'll be most potent when, he crosses over his degree. And again, it's the 8th house. So, there's the psychological side of it is that it can't be vulnerable with people. It learns early on that it can't trust people. It builds walls. It's very sort of aseptic or aseptic. It doesn't like to let people in. It's scared. This is terrible fear, oftentimes. There can also be issues with the dad. Dad could do criminal things or be an addict or be absent or whatever. But Saturn rules your 6th and 7th houses. So you're probably attracted to bad boys and people. Maybe they remind you of dad. I don't know. Maybe they remind you of dad. Dad was probably sort of like an important, or felt like an important guy. Or maybe he had an inflated sense of self-importance. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why I'm looking at. I should be reading the chat. Your skin is so dry. Truth, trust issues your whole life. Shalom, shalom. How are you, my friend? Shalom. It's good to see you, my darling. So, and just so everyone knows, I had laser today, so I look hideous. Okay? I look old and disgusting and whatever. So, and I'm going to turn 40 this month. And I'm just like, ugh. There's so many nasty things I want to say, but YouTube will ban me or demonetize me. And I haven't even been monetized yet. Excuse me. So please help me do it by subscribing and liking the goddamn stream. Please. JD. J Dizzle. The J Dog. It smells like Up Dog in here. What's up, dog? Nothing. What's up with you? Oh. Sorry, that never gets old to me. I remember when someone did that to me when I was like 20 or 19. And I was like, what? So anyway, well, money's probably been a problem in your life. That's the other thing too, is it doesn't just have to be the psychological stuff and the fear, but it could be death, having a significant death before a Saturn return that affects us. And when you have your Saturn return, there could be another death. I'm sorry to say, but I have to be blunt. It's not always that dire, and you do have a day chart, so Saturn's a lot happier, right? So it doesn't have to be something so bad. For someone like me and with the night chart, it tends to be something so bad. So, I don't want to upset you. It could be stuff to do with debt. Again, money issues growing up could follow you around as you get older. If you don't learn to be responsible and frugal, and how to not let these things get away from you. You see, debt can turn into a spiral, right? Where we keep having to catch up, and right? Interest, compound interest even. Compound interest even. Heavens to Murgatroyd. Right? I mean, that's a biatch, isn't it? I forget who it was that said it, but if you had a gold sovereign invested at the time of Jesus's birth, I think maybe it was Karl Marx that said this, I can't remember. And you had it invested at 3% interest, by the time you got to 1850, you would have filled the entire solar system with gold coins or gold sovereigns. Anyway, you can hear me breathing, apparently. So anyway, I spent a lot of time on this chart. So this is going to be a difficult time coming up, but keep your wits about you. And the eclipse was in your 9th house. So, you're already kind of a deep philosophical person type. So this period over the next 6 months is going to open up new opportunities for you in this front. Well, maybe you're going to school. Maybe you're going to graduate school. Maybe that's something. I don't know. But if it's not literally school, it's learning something new, something religious, something spiritual, something political or legal, right? But it has to do with your worldview and how you approach and perceive things. So let's move on to someone else. Someone else. Who do we want? Someone else. When do we want them? We don't know. Do. I'm trying to see who's next. Who's next? Who's next? Okay, we did Aurora Divine Tarot. And next is Dean Knight. Dean Knight. Do I have D Nice in the system? Do I have D Nice? D Nice. D Nice. 1966. No, I don't have D Nice. I don't have D Nice. I have D Mean. D Nice. Okay. 25. Someone suggested, one of my friends was watching my live stream last night, and he said, you should figure out a way so people don't have to share their personal information in the public chat. And I think everyone would probably like that if I could figure that out. I just have to figure out how to do it. But then again, you'd see it on the live chart stuff too, I guess. I don't know. There's got to be a way to figure that out. I just don't know what it is yet. I just don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I said, don't know what it means. Oh, that's Nirvana. Excuse me. Don't know what it means, and I say, do 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 do. Bay Shore. Is it the bay or is it the shore? Are you by the bay or are you by the shore? Which one? Which one's which? The ninth? The ninth? I think stuff correct, my darling. You don't know, but you wouldn't mind a reading again unless it's not appropriate yet. Actually, most of these people have gotten readings already. So, like at this point, I'm just trying to people please right now because I don't have any specific topics to go over. I can look at specific techniques. Oh yeah, I don't know what it means enough. I don't even know the lyrics. Like, but that was on the radio all the time when I was a kid in the 90s. Now I sound like a real Saturn girl talking about back in my day. Ooh, that sounds better. Does that sound better? Or does that sound too loud? What does that sound like? Does that sound too loud? Is this too loud? Please tell me if this is too is this poppy? If I say peas, in bloom, that's right, in bloom. Does this sound too poppy? Do I use fixed stars? I do. But I also use broken stars. Ba-bum. Anyway, so yeah, Algol is in Taurus. So I just can't remember. This sounds good. Much better. So this is what I have to do. I have to be right close up on this motherfucker. I like putting my mouth on things, so this works. You know, Gemini. And the whole tongue thing. So, well, anyway, so this is great. So hopefully this improves my audio a little bit because I don't know. Excuse me. So I have to have my mouth right up on this motherfucker. Excuse me. So someone was talking about fixed stars. So the easy thing I can do in like the cheater way. I mean, I know some of the fixed stars, like, oh gosh, D Nice. If you and I had met back in the day, my darling, we probably would have fallen in love. Although you're my sister's age, but that's okay. That's okay. We probably would have gotten down because your Venus is conjunct my ascendant, and Venus conjunct my ascendant. Every time I've met a woman with Venus conjunct my ascendant, she's fallen in love with me, and it's been a whole, thing. I've typically also fallen back, so. But you see, the reason I bring that up is not because I'm flirting or anything, my darling. It's because although I'm always flirting, But what I'm talking about is your Venus is conjunct Altair. Altair is a royal star. I know that because my ascendant is conjunct Altair. Altair is intrepid. It's bold. It's daring, right? It does have to do with astrology, right? It does have to do with intelligence and, sometimes good fortune. So with Venus, I would see that as a very beneficent thing. And it's within a degree or so of you, degree in a few minutes. So what else do you have here? What else do you have here? I know the Pleiades are very, very late Taurus or Alcyone or very early Gemini or late Taurus. The Pleiades or Pleiades. Who else do I know here? Who else do I know? But hey, we'll look at the fixed star report. Fixed stars. I prefer the broken stars. I love that joke. You're too boring for me. Oh my gosh. I love boring women. Excuse me. I mean, my partners didn't tend to be boring in that they always tended to be not very nice. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to speak ill of anyone, but I will if, I'm not going to speak ill of anyone. Why am I not seeing fixed stars? Oh, star aspects. Okay, here we go. Capella. I'm not aware of that star. Or Bellatrix. I'm not really aware of that star either. These are all in Gemini. Conjunct to Jupiter. Let's see who else is here. Oh, Sirius. Well, Sirius is in Cancer. What is this here? Oh, that's parallel. Parallel. I don't really look at parallel aspects. So Alcyone conjunct, you see, that's what I said, Alcyone conjunct the North Node. So may you get a reading next. Well, let me see who's next. Hold on. Because I'm not done flirting with D Nice, I'm just playing with you. I mean, exalted moon in the 8th. Well, let's say some stuff about transits, because that's what we're here to do. Right? I mean, first of all, we've talked probably about the eclipses being in your 1st and 7th house axis, which does what? It creates this existential crisis. Yeah. But at the same time, you can maybe experience big beginnings and endings in terms of your relationships, but this will precipitate a big sort of existential period when you get into October. So mid-October to the following spring, April-ish, I suppose, I would say that's when your focus would be on yourself and your own sort of development and growth, and that, if you do go through a breakup or something like that, or you do meet someone, there's sort of the opportunity both ways to sort of collapse into the circumstance and to feel like you lose yourself, not like Eminem, lose yourself in the music the moment you want it. Sorry, I'm goofy. But, where you feel like you've given up part of yourself. Like you haven't been authentic or honest, right? And so the first house thing, the eclipse in your first house in October, is going to challenge you on all that stuff, right? Where you've sort of felt weak, perhaps, or unsure of yourself or uncertain, right? For example, my sister was just here. My sister is your age, or she's just a couple years older, actually. And she's at that point where she's winding down in her career. She would like to find something else, right? But she's miserable where she's at. So, there's a lot of tough decisions that you got to make. But you got to make the right decisions for you, because, we start having this realization, usually in our late 40s, when we've gone through the Uranus opposition, Uranus opposing Uranus, and we feel like we need to burst out of our shell, so it's wonderful. I mean, You're at that point in your life. Actually, look, you're having your second Saturn return right now. This is a wonderful time of life. It could be painful as all hell, and I hate to be graphic, but with the sixth house stuff, there could be some health things going on, you know. Again, I hate to be graphic, but menopause and stuff like that. Mars is the ruler of Scorpio and rules all those sorts of parts and those things and reproductive things. So, well, I mean, Venus does too, but Mars to a certain extent with all that. So, it's that time in life where you have to you have to start having fun. You really do. You have to start appreciating things. And not there's no destination. You're not going to get anywhere. Right? There's nowhere to get. You are here. You are the destination. But no, I just said there is no destination. You're the fucking journey. You're the journey. And yes, you will have to focus on your health, right? Because Saturn's going through your sixth house for a while. But this is also a period where you learn self-reliance. You have to slow down. Life has to slow down. And your relationships, well, I mean, you may have had a tendency to be codependent before. And now through this period, it might feel lonely, but it's like you're learning self-reliance. Over the next 3 years, when you get to the next phase, where Saturn's in your seventh house, it's going to feel probably like if you're with someone, that relationship will be strained and you have to work through that, right? Which comes to that whole self-reliance thing. If you're not in a relationship, that's going to be a bigger source of pain for you because you're going to long for that companionship. But one of the lessons is, like I said, as Saturn approaches the end of a sign, we start seeing opportunities that come. It depends on how we've responded to the situations. If we've reacted very poorly, excuse me, my stupid breath. But if we've reacted very selfishly, perhaps, or cultivated discord or negativity, we'll see those things kind of come back to us. If we've trudged through a little bit and we start to not worry so much about the destination and realize that we just have to be stuck in the mud for a little bit, I'm not going to guarantee things, but in my experience, it's overwhelmingly likely, very likely, quite likely, that you'll experience new opportunities that come to you from these situations. Astrology is about fate, right? It's not about changing your fate. It's about learning to accept whatever comes your way with a greater sense of equanimity. You see? So it's not about getting anywhere in particular. It's about learning to face whatever comes. And to see that every circumstance has an opportunity. I'm not being glib or victim blaming, right? I'm talking about every circumstance gives us an opportunity for more consciousness. Even the most painful ones, actually, especially the most painful ones, right? There's useless, unnecessary suffering, which is totally unconscious and we let happen to us. But conscious, intentional, and useful suffering is when we face things, right? Typically facing our fears. Your son is old enough now and you want to go back to school. Well, excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Jupiter is going to be in your 8th house for a year, right? Coming up. But then next May, Jupiter will go into your 9th house. Now, Jupiter's not happy in Gemini. But for you in particular, Jupiter rules your 3rd house and your 6th house. So that could be a time to go back to school. Or, go back to school whenever you want. What I'm saying is you might see circumstances intervene that sort of push it to next year, right? But it could happen sooner. Jupiter's going to enter your 8th house of debt. It could be student debt that you're accruing. Others have become too dependent on you, so they'll have some issues, you're sure. Well, I know I'm a helicopter parent a little bit. I have a Cancer Venus, so I'm like doting and taking care of. Like, please, do you want some more? Would Mini Me, would you like something to eat? Would you like a hot pocket? Maybe a hot pocket, Mini Me. So I'm always trying to feed people. I guess that's a very Cancer thing, Cancer Venus. Please have some more. Have some more food. I have to hold this right up. I just have to do this. This looks so awkward. It looks like I'm trying to fillet it, if you know what that word means. Like, trying to shove it in my mouth. Your hubby needs to look for a workers' comp lawyer. That's very sixth house. That's very sixth house. Very sixth house and ninth house. Excuse me. And your ninth house rules Mercury. And so, but I don't see anything super significant with that right now. Although, where's your Mercury? Oh, in the sixth house, typically. So, you said LMAO, but I can't remember what I said that was funny. What did I say that was funny? I can't even remember. I have the memory of a goldfish, apparently. I forget what I said 3 seconds ago. So, so I should move on to someone else, though. Anything I'm missing? I mean, all the Mars and Venus stuff in June going through Leo is probably going to be quite fun for you. Like, you're going to want to get out, hopefully, and enjoy yourself during the summer. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, yeah, but this period's all about personal responsibility and/or, I mean, you mentioned legal issues, but dealing with enemies. So, the mini me thing. Yeah. Hot pocket. A hot pocket. Oh, I don't know why I make myself laugh. That's all I try to do is just make myself laugh. Most people don't usually laugh, but the ones that do. But the ones that do, oh boy. Excuse me. I'm just ridiculous. I'm just so ridiculous. And your son's in the sixth house too. It's a difficult kettle of fish. At least your first house ruler's in the fifth house. I mean, that's more fun. I mean, you were probably. Oh, see, I've been doing Denise for a while here. Let me get off her. That sounded bad. That sounded bad. But you probably have been a quite sexual person with that fifth house Venus. So, and your children have been quite important to you. I mean, whose children aren't quite important to them? But that's been a defining thing in your life. Although, also with that is the whole creativity thing and having fun and pleasure. You'll see gamblers there. You'll see artists and performers and dancers and small business people. And I think I'm a bit of a performer too. I don't know. Hopefully this all works out. But let's do the next person. Who's next? We did you. Sorry, I should have covered my mouth. We did D9. Hannah Dugas. Is it Hannah Dugas? January 7th, 1982, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia. Not older Scotia, but Nova Scotia. Not older Scotia, but Nova Scotia. There is an old Scotia. I don't know how to say it. Like Viejo Scotia. No, that's Latin, Nova Scotia. Right? That's Latin. Isn't it Latin? Latin. Nova Scotia. Don't lose your train of thought, Frankie. Stay on the task at hand. Jan 7. Not Jan Brady, but Jan 7. Oh God. You know what? When I was shaving before my laser thing, I nicked myself in my private area. Because you have to be totally shaved for the full body thing. And then and like so that's hurting me right now. And then I had to get laser over it, which actually wasn't that bad, but now it's like ugh. It's like, it's bugging me. Oh yeah, don't lose your train of thought, Frankie. Don't lose your train of thought. 2:15 a.m. 2:15 a.m. Halifax. 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 Nova Scotia. Hanana from Nova Scotia. From Halifax, Canada. Hanana from Canada. Sorry, I have to be a little, bitchy. And then I always have to sing the national anthem. Oh, Canada, our home and native land. True patriot love in all thy sons command with glowing hearts. I'm sorry, my voice is so screwed up right now. Uh, with glowing hearts and gleaming eyes, we stand up strong and free. I can't sing right now. I can't even speak right now. Excuse me. I sound like a rasp. I sound like a washboard. Oh, wait. I gotta turn this back up. I lost my volume. I have to keep my finger off the trigger. So, your eclipse period now is, again, the same as someone else earlier who had a. Wait. Did we have another Scorpio rising earlier? Either way, you've gone from the existential crisis phase you've been in and you're entering the hibernation phase, right? Maybe you're going to have health issues that you're going to have to address this period. You're welcome, Alicia. And you're welcome. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm looking at the wrong place. Oh, you're welcome, D Nice. You're welcome. I shouldn't, this is not ladylike to sit like this, but it's comfy. Excuse me. Hannah Dugas. Hannah Dugas. Or is it Dougus? Like the Duggars? Or is it Dugas? Hannah Dugas. Excuse me, I'm not trying to be a bitch. I'm just naturally, weird. You poor thing, though. You probably have felt quite isolated, haven't you? I mean, growing up and all that sort of stuff, I mean, you probably have a big personality, quite jovial and inclusive and inviting, but still probably shy and have a sense of seclusion or isolation. It's fine, get comfortable. What, you want to see me spread my legs? Is that what you're trying to say? I mean, plenty of people do, and they pay to see it. So, I mean, not plenty. I mean, some. So, but I should be modest here and discreet. My mom always used to say, "Be modest." I'm like, I'm anything but modest. you know. So anyway, Saturn's exalted at least. Well, I hope you haven't had a lot of struggles with mental illness or addiction. I mean, I would always say stay away from drugs and alcohol if possible. I know my Canadian friends love to drink, you know. I know my Canadian friends love to drink. So, but maybe it's not an issue at all. Maybe not. But when the first house ruler's in the 12th house like that, it often signifies either um, addiction or mental health issues. Excuse me. Or, I mean, physical isolation or seclusion, like literally growing up, not around a lot of people. But anyway, horoscopy stuff. Ew, your mom too. Yeah. Yeah, you drink? Well, I mean, if you have a handle on it, that's fine. I would be careful if I were you. Maybe your dad. Maybe your dad was an alcoholic. Did your dad drink, or did your dad have addiction issues or mental health issues? Because that oftentimes is a placement that signifies that. That signifies that. Maybe your dad passed away early on. No, I don't know. Sometimes I see that too with this. Dad could have passed away early on. Or, yes, he was an alcoholic. Okay, yeah. So there you go. There you go. And the apple never falls far from the tree there, lad. I don't know what that accent was. It was terrible. The apple never falls far from the tree. Right? I mean, I come from two alcoholic parents and alcoholic family. And, a bunch of us had to stop drinking. No, okay. No, I got you. He's an alcoholic, but he's still here. Oh, please, if you've had any inclinations to self-harm, discuss that with a therapist. And please, please, please don't do any self-harm. You're around my age. You're like just a year older than me. So, we grew up around the same time with that same sort of stuff, the same sort of pressures-ish, similar media and things like that. And, we had a lot of depressing, there was a lot of depressing stuff with us growing up, and we all tended to be a little morose, didn't we? So, I mean, that could just be the natural part of our generation or our sub-generation there. Whatever that is. But Saturn now is leaving your fourth house and has gone into your fifth house. So maybe you had issues with your dad over the past few years, especially over the past few years. And now your children will be highlighted. But in these periods, oftentimes life feels very uncertain. Things disrupt, right? Things disrupt our typical sense of home or security or our routine or whatever. The sense of security is disrupted and things get very uncertain, like not in a fun way. There's a lot of unpleasant spontaneity, and things come up with our kids sometimes if you have children where, maybe they have unforeseen sicknesses or things that you have to attend to. And you have to, the big lesson for these things is to try and foster as much consistency as you can. And what I mean by that is prepare for rainy days, right? Like expect rainy days and prepare for them. And then when you get to the sixth house thing, you're learning how to follow through with responsibility, Jupiter's going to enter your seventh house here in May, mid-month. Lol. Lo, 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 la, 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 lo, la. Lo, 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 la. What did I say that was funny, Hannah? Hanana? Anyway, so, relationships have been a source of pain in your life, probably. But now Jupiter is going to go into your seventh house for a year. So if you're not with someone, this could be a time where you meet someone. If you are with someone, you could see your marriage improve over the next year. You could see marital relations improve. You could fall in love again, rekindle the spark or the flame, all that fun stuff. Sorry for my sniffles. But you know what I'm saying? It's a fruitful time for marriage and for romantic partnerships. And And if you have contractual obligations, it's a good time to do that stuff because you get the upper hand, typically. So a needle pulling thread. Ah, a long, long way to run. What else is going on here? About the eclipses. We talked about the eclipses. I should move on to someone else. Hello. Is it Alia or is it Aliyah? Let's move on to someone else. Someone else. June through October should be pretty lucky for you, and Venus goes through your 10th house. Okay. Someone else. Who is next? After Hannah Dugas. Hannah Dugas. Sorry, I can't. I shouldn't keep repeating the same stuff over and over. I just can't help it because I'm annoying as all hell. You know? You're by the lake and you just discovered a crossroads in the middle of the forest and you're so ecstatic about that. Oh, that sounds very lovely. You love when I say wackadoodle. It's so funny. I know, it's one of my sayings. You can't stand starboars. Starboard. Starboars. Oh, who did I miss? No, thank you. There's D Nice. And we saw Hannah Dugas. And then Ashlyn. Is that right? I don't want to keep on just looking at this. Did JD, did you put your information up? JD? Is it J Dugas? Sorry. JD? I'll look at Ashlyn quick. I know I have hers on file. Gosh, why am I so tired? Ashlyn. You know, Aisling. Is it Aisling or is it Ashlyn? Is an Irish name too, Gaelic, but they spell it A-I-S. Is it A-I-L-S-I-N-G? Is that? But it's pronounced mostly the same way. Okay. Let's see. Aisling. Gosh, I'm so out of it. Jiminy Christmas, Pisces rising, poor baby. Poor you. First, oh, sugar. I turned my mic all the way down again. I gotta stop doing that. So poor baby, Saturn going through your first house. I know what that feels like. You just came out of 3 years of isolation, and now you're going through 3 years of immolation, self-immolation. It feels like burning, like everything we thought we were gets slowly dissolved. And it can be quite morose because we think about death quite a bit when we're going through all this stuff. Your appearance could totally change, But ultimately, but we do contemplate our own mortality quite a bit. We start thinking about time and feeling older. We might visibly age, right? Other people think we start looking older. Like I started seeing wrinkles on my face when all that was happening. So, and I mean, you're quite young. So you're 7 years younger than me. You don't feel too old because you're still quite young, because I'm young. And I refuse to say that I'm old, even though I feel old. And I don't want to turn 40 this month. I want to turn 38. No, I want to turn 28. I want to redo my Saturn return as a trans girl. Although I don't know how that would work out. So, oh, look at you. Venus conjunct the sun. Venus is what's called combust. Is she? Yeah. Or under the beams at least. But her typical expression just can't, you know, she's not very effective there. She's not very effective. I mean, she's fine in Sagittarius and she's great in your 10th house, but when she's eclipsed by the sun, she's not able to do the same sort of stuff. That's why I tell people, Venus conjunct the sun can be deceptively charming. They could be so total sociopaths and you'd never know. So that's one of my jokes that I tell all the time. So, oh goodness. What else is going on here? So Saturn, that's the big thing for you is Saturn. The eclipses are going in your second and eighth house. So this is like, this is the winter period of this cycle for you. I mean, we talked about the material finances thing. That's quite important. And your livelihood or your business or however you earn money is highlighted by this eclipse that just happened last month. So perhaps it means learning to manage your resources. When it gets to the eighth house in October, it could go one of several ways. It could go quite positive, and it could have to do with tying up things that you owe or being owed. It could be getting out of financial predicaments. It could be a necessary expense that you need to make that turns out well. Might still be expensive, but all other things considered, it turns out well. But I think it typically has to do with money. Of course, the eighth house is death, and I have to mention that all the time, just so I feel like I'm not being unethical, because I think it is unethical for modern psychological astrologers to try and spin everything into a positive sort of thing. Well, this is just an experience. Like, okay. This is what I say to people about the whole benefic malefic thing. People say to me, well, Frankie, from the angle of the soul, nothing is good or bad. Everything is just sort of an opportunity. And I say, yeah, sure, I'll accept that. But when I slap you in the face, how does it feel? Does it feel good or bad? I mean, some of us like that sort of thing sometimes in the right context. But, ultimately we think of these things as not fun experiences, right? I mean, in the right setting, it might be fun. But you see what I'm saying here? I should move on to someone else. Did I say about... Well, Jupiter's been going through your second house, so hopefully that's helped with the money situation. Right? Mars in Gemini can be terribly annoying. I know I am. And when Mars is retrograde, right, it sort of turns him on his head. If there were any sort of monetary gain that would happen later in life, like approaching your 40s, like doing well financially, that wouldn't happen until later, you see. Or if it did happen earlier, it would come with a price. It would come with a price. And it wouldn't be nice. Sugar, spice, and everything nice. These were the ingredients used to make the perfect little girl. That's the Powerpuff Girls. Okay. I lost my train of thought. What was I thinking? Oh, with the retrograde, it could either bring it later in life, like I said. Oh, did I just say that? At a great cost. Oh, Mars is opposite the sun very closely, right? So this is someone who can be a bit aggressive, who asks for forgiveness later. Hopefully, I got all your stuff correct because I don't remember Mars opposite the sun in this close either. Because that can be terribly independent, like fiercely so, you know? Anyway. Anyway. I should move on to someone else. Wait, oh, you wanted to know about Algol. That's what it was. Algol. Well, I'll look at the fixed stars here. Oh, you've got Zubin al-Shamali like I do. Aspect to what? To Pluto? Oh, Pluto. Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, everyone with Pluto at that degree would have that, and that would be a lot of people. Because Pluto moves so slow. Altair. Altair's aspecting your ascendant. It's conjunct my ascendant. You don't have anything there in Aquarius. What? Altair. Oh, okay. Well, that's the North Node then. Okay, Altair. Huh. Well, Algol's in Taurus. And I don't see anything that you have in Taurus. So I'm not sure what you were on about. I'm not sure what you were on about. So you were talking about Algol or excuse me, some fixed star thing. But the only significant fixed star I saw, the only this is the only time I really I this is the only time. See, I don't know anything about Procyon. I don't know anything about facies. I wouldn't think of it as a big old thing. Zubin al-Shamali is big. I know Altair is big. So it's saying you have Altair aspecting your ascendant. But your ascendant's 9 degrees Pisces. And Altair is 9 degrees. Right? Anyway. Ugh. I totally lost my train of thought. Well, I hope I answered your question. So, Algol. You just thought it was bad wherever it's at. I mean, it sits everywhere. I mean, it sits somewhere for everyone, right? So like I wouldn't pay it a special attention unless you have it aspecting something. By a conjunction only. You don't look at fixed stars unless it's a conjunction, really. Oh goodness. Oh goodness gracious. What does what mean? What does what mean, my darling? You're welcome, sweetheart. Yeah, it said you had Altair conjunct your ascendant, which you don't. You don't. Oh no, it's conjunct your north node. That's what it said. Oh my god. Oh, I shouldn't do that. I was so rude. But I only have one hand. I'm like Captain Hook. I'm like Captain Hook. So who is next? By hook or by crook? By hook or by crook? Who is next? Oh, and please like the goddamn stream if you haven't liked it. If you're here, if I read for you and you didn't like the stream, I will haunt your goddamn dreams. I will poison the sky with venom and locusts and frog demons. So JD? Was it JD? Did JD put their stuff here somewhere? JD. I'm so tired. JD. JD, I didn't see your information anywhere. Oh, you liked it for me. Thank you, baby. Thank you, sweetheart. You posted your info where? I don't see it. Oh, okay. Now I see it. 9/11. Oh, we saw yesterday. Oh, we saw your chart yesterday. Oh, well, let's see. Oops. Okay, I didn't save it. But I do remember your. I do remember. I do remember you. Remember. Oops. It says Jay Z. Not JD. Jay Z. 9/11, 9/11, 9/11, 9/11. Excuse me. 9:26 a.m. Okay. Fort Worth. Fort Worth. Look. I mean, I was just making a joke. Not making any judgments about Fort Worth. It was just a bad joke. Play on words because it sounded funny. Fort Worth. It's Fort Worth. I'm from Fort Worth. Fort Worth, Texas. Fort Worth, Texas. Fort Worth, Texas. I'm so goofy. Okay, Jay Dizzle. So you're in the midst of the whole existential crisis thing coming up. You may have a big beginning or ending in terms of a relationship over the next 6 months. And that'll sort of stimulate, right, this whole sort of reflective period. Or, where you go through some things that make you question your life direction, your choices, and what you've done so far and who you are. And then after you get out of that phase for the subsequent several years, it'll be all about, processing that shit, going into your cocoon, eat, pray, love, and all that bullshit. You know what I mean? Go on your quest. Go to India to find yourself and eat, pray, love. Eat, pray, love. Anyway. Oh yeah, you have Saturn. You have Pluto conjunct Venus. I remember that now. I think I already talked about Saturn with you. Like you're in a period where you're learning to pick up the pieces yourself, learning to clean up your own spill, taking responsibility for things. And then that'll make you more independent, less reliant on other people. So let's look at someone else. Oh gosh, hello. Is there anybody out there? Alia Grace. Alia. Open. Alia. 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 What? I don't have it. Wait, I didn't spell it right, did I? Oh, wait, yeah, I did. Aliyyah. Oops. Alia. Aaron. Um, Leah. Aliyah. Yeah. 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 That's New Zealand. Old Zealand. Old Zealand in 1994. And it was 11:58 p.m. That's the time I was born at. 11:58 p.m. 2 minutes before midnight. Oh, wait. Wait. It's you. 8 p.m. It's you. And then Daryl. Otago. Old Zealand. I gotta type. Otago. I almost typed Old Zealand. I don't. Where's Otago? Where's Otago? Otago, New Zealand. I don't see an Otago, darling. Where the hell's Otago? Otago. Otago, Montego. Baby, why don't we go to Otago? We'll get there fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we want to go. Be down in Otago. Otago. Dun, dun, dun. So I can't look your shit up apparently because why'd you say Otago then? Oh. Omaru. Okay. Omaru. Otago. Oh. Otago. Omaru. There we go. That worked. That worked. Aliyah. Gemini rising. Oh gosh, your Mars and Venus are opposite my Venus. Goodness gracious. Should be talking into this. I was saying, oh, your Mars and Venus are opposite my Venus. That's wonderful. That would be fun. But all that stuff in your 8th house, sweetheart. If I haven't already looked at your chart, I maybe I already told you that people must confide in you and tell you their secrets. You also have a 9th house Saturn like me, so it tends to me. You got a gem in me. Got a gem in me. Anyway. So Saturn in the 9th house, right? It tends to give us a difficult experience of religion growing up. And then it makes us quite incredulous and scientific as we get older. So, but at the same time, we tend to be on a quest for meaning the rest of our lives. It's just we can't take anyone else's word for it. We need direct, unmediated experience of reality for ourselves. And we're not content, reading other people's experiences or just repeating BS that other people say, right? So, excuse me. You probably had a difficult childhood. Dad probably wasn't so nice. Maybe dad was religious. Or maybe dad was into some criminal thing. Or drugs or alcohol. So, can you do one for you, baby, please? and your baby, please. Oh, oops, Alia, I'm sorry. We should be looking at this other guy, Daryl. Where's Daryl? Any insight on a job? Oh, I guess I didn't see. Chipachi. Kuchipachi. Where's Ollie and Daryl? I'm not going to talk about Ollie yet anymore because we got Daryl here. Daryl. Daryl. Didn't we look this up before? Didn't I just look at his before? He's a his rising is like conjunct my rising within minutes. His rising is like just minutes away from my rising. That's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. Saturn conjunct Venus like that. Venus is exalted, but he's still probably pretty socially awkward, you know? Ooh. Anyway, we'll look at some synastry really quick and then move on. Excuse me. Well, bad stuff first. Bad stuff first. Mars square the moon can be tough. I mean, he might feel like that you attack him or something, or that you trample over his emotions. That could be a thing. Oops, excuse me. Excuse me. He could be quite threatened by you, maybe in some way. Excuse me. Or maybe just feels like you're aggressive. See, Jupiter square Mars. I mean, that can be a little bit explosive. You know, on the one hand, it has its good expressions where it can be very encouraging. But then also there can be this, you know, Jupiter can be arrogant and Mars can be hot-headed and Mars can lash out at Jupiter's sort of perceived arrogance or whatever. And it's not like Jupiter's necessarily trying to be. It's just that Mars perceives it that way too. But, you know, but Jupiter can be a bit of a know-it-all here and there. So this is one thing I'd just be self-aware about. It sort of encourages us to have explosive situations, or it encourages us to enable each other in destructive behavior, or, you know, behavior that isn't conducive to healthy, you know, responsible living. You know, so encouraging each other to, I don't know, get back into drinking or partying or something when you know it really doesn't serve you in life and that you've struggled with it. So, excuse me, sorry, Sun square Venus. So your Venus square his Sun. So you're aesthetic. You're aesthetic. You're aesthetic. There's something about his aesthetic, perhaps, that you don't like about Daryl's. And I'm assuming Daryl's a he, so sorry. But there's something about his aesthetic you probably don't like. Maybe it's the way he dresses. Maybe you want to dress him or something. Or maybe you want to have him cut his facial hair or grow facial hair or something. But you sometimes you'll see women try to treat people like a Ken doll a little bit. Right? The sun's supposed to be flashy and attractive, and when it doesn't conform to your notions of attraction, you can sort of try and pressure it to conform, right? Or to fulfill your expectations. Mercury square the sun, you know, there's a difference of opinion quite often. And there can be bickering and arguments around, they can be ideological differences. They can be practical differences, like don't wash the car like that, or, you don't clean like that, or it's just refusing sometimes to see things from each other's angle, right? And that can make for aggressive communication, because when we refuse to take each other's points of view into account, that it can result in sort of bickering and resentment, that sort of thing. The sun is intelligence, and so is Mercury in another way. So there's sort of a disjunction of ideas, and maybe belittling each other even sometimes, like making each other feel stupid, which isn't good. Mercury square Mercury, all that. Anyway, so some good ones. I mean, his Venus sextile your sun in Mercury. That's attraction. You're very attracted to each other. Even Venus square the sun can be sexually magnetic and things like that. It could be playful, like cat and mouse games, or egging each other on. Let me look and see, because egging each other on. 110 is October the 1st. Why did you say January? Alia. You put 110. Oh, God damn it. I don't know whether to say fucking America or fucking rest of the goddamn world. I hate that shit. You know what? New rule. Just say the month and I'll type it in. Just say them, like type out the month, like Jan, Feb, whatever. Just type it out rather than put the numericals. Just type out the letters. Jan, Feb, Mar, April, May, all that fun stuff. Well, never mind. I really need to move on to someone else, though. That's the thing about this, is we lose so much time. And we can't really look at other people's stuff because we lose time. Mars square the sun. That can be bickering. I don't have time for it. His Mars square your Venus can be quite sexually magnetic. But again, it can devolve into sort of competition and power struggles. There would be a difference in timing in terms of sex. So like after a while, the excitement wears off, and it's like he wants to do it, but you're not ready, or you're not there, or whatever. Maybe you're interested, and then and he's not around or not into it, or he's like, wow, you did this or something. I don't know, but it's timing is off somewhere after you get comfortable. Venus trine Venus though. Definitely. I've had that before. It's a, first of all, there's an aesthetic sort of attraction, right? Where you're both very much attracted to each other. But then there's this also sort of ease in each other's company. And, common likes and common music and, common art, beauty, all these sorts of things, right? These Venusian qualities. So that's a lovely thing. And like I said, it makes us at ease in each other's company. It's a wide orb, 5 degrees. People love to go like the widest ever in Synastry, don't they? And I should know. His sun trine your moon should make you feel quite safe. The sun makes us feel visible and seen. And the moon makes the sun feel secure, nurtured. The moon's very nurturing. And then his moon conjunct your sun, so nurturing both ways. Mars conjunct the moon. There can be babies or pregnancy involved with that. So Now watch out for bickering too with Mercury and Mars. So moving on, moving. So, god damn it, I just hate that stuff. Frog demons, yes, frog demons. You're not aware of frog demons? You do remember 9/11. Well, who doesn't remember 9/11? I mean, if you were alive and cognizant back then, you remember 9/11. You know, my dad was military, so yeah, I remember 9/11. It's me you're looking for. You can see it in your eyes. Oh, yeah. I can see it in your eyes. I love that song. I love that song. Ashley Dawson. What's that mean? Ashley Donnell Dawson. Wait. What kind of reading? You want a tarot reading? Is that what you want? Or what kind of reading do you want? Because you just put your name here. I'm an astrologer or tarot reader. I don't do like nameology very well. Nameomancy. I do the name game. Ashley, Bob, Ashley, Banana, Fana, Fofashly, Fee, Fi, Fofashly, Ashley. I do that kind of stuff. Cuckoo Pachi, Coochie Pachi, Coochie Pachi, Coochie Pachi. The stupid spam people came and went quickly. I didn't see them. I didn't even see them. To be honest with you, I didn't even see them. Alia Babes, 110 is October. You know what, Alia? I come from the U.S. Here in I know what you do. The rest of the goddamn world does it, Alia. I know. It's not your fault. I'm just frustrated. Yeah, no, I know. JD, can I do one for your husband? I need to do from someone else. I'm sorry. You're lovely, JD. I love you. I'm sorry, but I need to do someone else. So. Yeah, I didn't even see the spam people. And like, what the fuck is their deal? Like, why? You really have like energy and time for that shit? I'm sorry, I need to take a bite of this. I made myself a turkey burger with no bun. It's like a burger salad, like with lettuce and tomato and avocado. The Dawson. Sorry for eating. Why did you delete it? Why does everything hate me? The Dawson. Oh, there's two. Keegan Anthony Jeremiah. Jesus. Is that a name? It sounds like a comedian. Keegan Anthony Jeremiah. Sandoval. Oh my goodness. That is a name. That is a name. Why aren't you complying with me? You son of a gun. Okay. Keegan. I'm not writing all that. Keegan Anthony Jeremiah Sandoval. Keegan. Oh, and his birthday. Just had it. May Day. May Day, May Day, May Day. 6:50 p.m. Dallas, Texas. Oh, let's take a look at you first. Your seventh house ruler is Mars in the fifth house. So you're going to need a partner who's more fun and sexual, who gets along with your kids if you have kids. You know, who likes to have fun. You know, who can joke around with you, but being good with kids is an important thing, especially if you have children. Now you can hear me. A stupid thing. See, it's like I have to hold this up to my stupid lips. And I have to remember. Oh, I turned it off by accident. Excuse me. So, Saturn in the fourth house, my darling, you have daddy issues. You have daddy issues. He wasn't very nice to you, or he wasn't around, or, you know, bad daddy. Bad daddy. In reversed, retrograde. So you don't know boundaries. So this is baggage you drag with you into relationships, you see? But you're a fun person. You know, you might feel like ashamed of your sexuality, but you need to get over it. You know? Wait, why are they. Damn it. Stop moving all the fuck around. I'm sorry, I'm just in a mood. God. Okay. There we go. So over this. Okay, so you're both Libra rising. Because I was tripped out for a second. So I'm like, is this the same goddamn chart? Like, oh, you were born just really close together. So that's why Mars is. So you both have the same stupid rising sign. But then the placements are sort of similar. But, you know, like I'm going to say the same shit then for, well, not the same, but again, daddy issues. He's got Pluto conjunct the moon though, so pretty bad mommy issues too. And it's a Scorpio moon. Jiminy Christmas. So now he's gonna want a partner that's good with kids too, and spontaneous and fun and sexual and all that bit. So you know, so you both have that in common. I'm so pissed right now. What the Ashley Keegan. Okay, so Mars square the moon is tough, right? That's his emotions feel trampled on. Mars square the sun can be tough, but it's more like, you know, it's more like fighting. Whereas the moon stuff is just like jabbing, and the moon person just sort of shuts down, you know. I mean, but moon trying the moon is very good for this sort of emotional comfort and understanding. So thank you for offering your time and astrology skills. Thank you. No, I mean, it's just the way it is. I'm not pissed at anyone in particular. I was just like irked that I lost time because I'm getting hungry. I'm getting hungry. And I wasn't going to stay on for this long. I'm getting hungry. I'm getting hangry. I'm getting hangry. You have 4 kids together. Well, that's good. Yeah, kids would be quite important. But the moon thing, the moon trine the moon is very lovely. And then his Jupiter trine or sextile your moon. So that makes you feel supported, perhaps. But watch out for lying because his Neptune is opposite your moon. So there can be deception in some way. Or it can just be like codependency and seeing each other through rose-colored glasses. You know, apologizing for each other's faults when you need to address them, perhaps. Um, I mean, you guys were just born so close together, so There's good stuff for marriage. His sun, trine your Saturn, trine your Mercury. That's all lovely for marriage. Oh, see, his Venus is trine your ascendant. So, this could have been like a love at first sight kind of thing where, you both fell in love really quickly. Because those things you'll see quite often. Um Anyway, Pluto trine the moon. His Pluto trine the moon. And then your Pluto conjunct his moon. And opposite his sun. So this is a life-changing relationship. It can be quite difficult at times because emotions are so intense and high. There's a lot of trauma and baggage involved and all that sort of thing. And so you guys go through that together. It's sort of like this feeling of going to hell together and coming back. Right? You have to be careful here because you got to get some levity in your life in this relationship because things can feel so heavy all the time. So learning to have fun and be childlike and joke and all that sort of stuff can be very important. And if you ever tried to break up, it would be really messy and really painful. When you try and pull Pluto and the moon apart, especially when they go both ways like this, oh my gosh, it's just really, 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 really bad. It can be really bad. I'm horngry? You mean horny and hungry? I mean, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I stayed on way longer than I intended, you vultures. Finally embracing your sexuality in your 30s. No more childbearing. Good. Good, Ashley. It's back in the chat. Well, I mean, I have people blocked, so I don't see anything. Yeah, I'm not even looking at it. So, and I don't even know why people have a beef with me anyway. Like, what's the point? Why do people don't like me? What did I do to you? Like, you're just jealous, huh? Also fully support you eating because my Taurus. Well, where? I was gonna see if anyone else was here. Um. Um. Who was on here? Who else was on here? Coochie Pachi. Well, I don't know. I don't see anyone else. Going once. Going twice. Wait, Coochie Pachi, I guess, had one on here. 10 March 88. Coochie Pachi, Coochie Pachi, Coochie Pachi. Sounds like a drum line. Coochie. Pachi. Coochie Pachi, Coochie Pachi, Coochie Pachi. Coochie Pachi, Coochie Pachi. Coochie Pachi, Coochie Pachi, Coochie Pachi. 11 a.m. 11 a.m. San Salvador. El Salvador. And you were born in the 80s when all that stuff was going on. Yeah. El Salvador has just been totally ravaged. It's awful. Yeah, excuse me. All these right-wing death squads in the 1980s that the United States was funding, interestingly enough. So, and there was this lovely priest who was murdered. I forget his name. Lovely priest. Wonderful man. And a journalist, I think they were both dispatched of in the most heinous way. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. Gemini rising again. Ooh, Venus conjunct Jupiter in the 12th house. Well, that makes it a bit nicer. So your 10th house ruler is Jupiter in the 12th house conjunct Venus, who is your 5th house ruler. I mean, I would look at that and say, like, are you a child counselor? I'm like, do you work with, I don't know. I mean, when I see the 1st house, or sorry, the 5th house and the 10th house ruler in the 12th, working with children who have disabilities or something like that, like autism spectrum or emotional disabilities or issues, or I mean, counselors, school counselors, things like that. I don't know. Someone who works with other people's pain and suffering in some way. I bet you're quite successful. I bet you're quite, well, I don't know how successful, but I mean, I'd imagine you'd be quite successful. And Venus is in domicile there, so she's quite happy. You may have had children who maybe had to struggle with some of these things, but there would have been something very positive about the experience, perhaps. 10 March 88. Coochie Pachi. War child, yeah. Oh, you're a hairdresser. Well, excuse me, hairdressers oftentimes end up being counselors, don't they? You have to talk to people. Well, that's 5th house too, isn't it? Venus is the aesthetic in the 5th house. Is where Venus finds her joy. So I guess that makes sense. Not necessarily children. So, oh, you have a girl. You have a girl. Your hairdresser is kind of like your therapist. You have a girl. Well, I wonder if there was anything to do, either with disabilities or, depression or anything like that. Or maybe ADHD or something around your daughter. It wouldn't be anything too bad because all these planets are very happy. But I just wonder about that. You, on the other hand, have a codependency issue probably. And you would look for your value through other people, Was dad a foreigner? Was dad from another country? Or super religious? Maybe dad was just super religious. Maybe that's it. Dad was very religious. Anyway, so you're going into an interesting phase here because, you've had, you've gone from the 6th and 12th house axis in terms of the eclipses, and you're moving now to the 5th and 11th. So that means the last eclipse was in your 11th house here in Aries. And so this is a fun time for you because it's like coming out of your cocoon or coming out of your shell. Maybe you felt quite isolated or quite sort of removed and, and it could have been self-imposed seclusion or isolation where you needed to be alone to process all these, these intense experiences or realizations that happened around, your experience of yourself and your relationships, So June of 2021 would have been, starting in June 2021 probably, and going on for another 6 months after would have been like a big existential crisis. And you may have seen a relationship, a significant relationship end or begin around December of 2021. And then last year, it was all about the seclusion thing. And maybe you had to deal with health issues, I'm not sure. But definitely had to process a bunch of complicated emotions. And now you're emerging back into the light of day where you should be getting back out and enjoying yourself, meeting people, making connections, having hopes and dreams and goals and aspirations, you see. So anyway, so I hope that was useful. I need to go eat now. I didn't mean to stay on for 2 hours. I was going to stay on for 1 hour. But we did lots of. So please like the stream and come back next time. Come back next time because I will do you next time. The people who get here quicker and faster get their charts done first. So, and the people who hang on longer, So get here quicker and I will more likely get to you. So please like the stream. Yes, feel like getting again alive. Yeah. You're welcome, sweetheart. You're welcome. You're welcome. Mm-hmm. You always miss it, sweetheart. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, we start at typically 4 p.m. Pacific, which is 5 p.m. Mountain, my time, which is 6 p.m. Central and 7 p.m. Eastern. And I was only intending to stay on for 1 hour, and I've stayed on for more. So anyway, love you all.